Goodbye. And I'm flying out tomorrow just because I'm pissed.
Yeah. So this is our goodbye, our farewell video of our sisterhood and brotherhood.
Sisterhood of the traveling degrees.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Gian, and today I have my sister here to discuss something that we've all been thinking about, and that's how to finish university in 3 years with 2 bachelor degrees. What, are you saying that's not what you've been asking for? Well, unfortunately, that's the experience that she has. She graduated from Vienna, Austria in 3 years with, what were the degrees? I always forget which ones you got.
Business administration.
And what was the second one?
International relations.
Okay, so was that both Bachelor of what?
One is Bachelor of Science and one is Bachelor of Arts.
Wow, alright then. Okay. Someone's a bitch? Okay.
Someone's passive aggressive.
Alright. And then shortly afterwards you ended up working in, what was it? What was it again? Yeah, you were the marketing director of Rolls-Royce and Mazda and, am I missing another car company? Kia. Okay, yeah. So, but I think Kia and Rolls-Royce are on the same level, right? Like there's neck and neck in this.
Exactly the same car, actually.
I mean, I don't want to brag, but I kind of know a little bit about cars, so I know my stuff here.
They've been competing for years.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so you have a lot of experience in automotive industry. A lot might point out that a degree in IR and business administration doesn't necessarily translate to being a marketing director of automotive companies and then later on starting your own marketing agency. So that's why I invited you here today to discuss your experience in university, how you managed to graduate so early, and of course, how that led you to where you are now.
Okay, so I'll start with the university part. So my advice will really depend on whether you already know your path, what major you want to take, or if you're still going to explore. And then another aspect is whether your university does allow you to change courses in the middle of the semester or just in the middle of your whole collegiate life. So it really depends. I know that for most universities, you do have to decide within one semester, and figure out already which major you want to focus on. And then for others, it's even set. Once you sign up, you can't do anything. From my experience, it was actually very flexible, wherein you had the opportunity to do double majors or minors. Some even did double majors and a minor, but that would be almost impossible to do within 4 years even, because it exceeds the credits that's usually required at university.
So how were you able to do it?
So for me, I didn't, in my case, it was really an advantage to do the IB. Like as much as it hurts for me to admit that IB has helped me, it really was, because I did get credits. Did get credits from certain subjects. So even if my grades were shit, IB is still, held at a certain standard by universities.
Yeah.
So they gave me credits for certain classes. So definitely for English, for history. I got some of the courses in my international relations major credited already, and then math, even though I only did math studies, but that's considered the college, no, not college algebra, it's considered as the basic algebra in university. So in that sense, I did have extra credits. I think I got about almost 20 credits within my first year. And then what happened was, for me to compensate, initially I wasn't really set on graduating in 3 years, because my advisor was saying it's really difficult to do that. I mean, now sure you're eager to do this, but it really depends on how you can handle your workload. And in my case, I already knew that I was doing IR because I was still thinking of pursuing whether going the NGO route or UN route versus actually pursuing law later on. So I already had signed up for international relations. And then after speaking with my advisor, I learned that you can still use up because you have so many credits for electives. And for me, I found that useless because I want the extra paper. I just wanted that extra paper because at first they were encouraging me, okay, then you can do a bachelor's in management. And then I already started signing up for the classes for that. And then when I realized, like, a classmate of mine, she was I think 2 years ahead of me. So she said that she had 1 degree. Technically she had 2 degrees, but because it was Bachelor of Arts, they just put it in
on
paper.
One piece of, so that her diploma is just like
it's just one. So it just said management and psychology. So immediately I was like, okay, no, there's no way I'm working that hard for something just to have 1 piece of paper. So I changed it on my 2nd year. I think I changed it to business, which it's convenient still. It didn't really affect me so much because management and business had similar classes. The only differences would be there would be more stats, econ, so and so. So, but as far as the management classes that I already took, they applied, so it was okay.
It's funny that you mentioned that it wasn't that different from management, which implies that that you have some form of experience there. But in IB, you didn't have any classes pertaining to management either. So because I can see the natural trajectory there. I can see the natural trajectory between history and political science, right? That's understandable. But when you look at your education history, there was no indication that you were going to do business.
Yeah, so he brings this question up.
Yeah.
Because I refutely, like, I immediately said that no, I would never take business. I mean, he remembers this because he's my brother. So when I was in high school, like, I think even he mentioned, like, oh, you're not taking any business courses, because he just assumed, since I love counting money, that I would naturally go towards business. But I said no, I'll never need that. I'm not gonna pursue that type of career. So I ended up having this career now with business, which goes to show that as much as you plan something, or no matter how self-aware you are early on, once you start university, that's the time where you get to know yourself better in terms of your capabilities and what type of skills that you would actually want to have.
Was it your advisor who helped you plan your schedule, or helped you pick the classes? Like, how did you choose your classes, considering how different your schedule had the potential to be?
Oh yeah, that's true. So okay, so I was lucky that our university is really perfect in the sense that you get a lot of one-on-one with your advisors. Of course, not during the scheduling of classes. There's just no way. You have like a time frame. It's usually just 10 minutes max. But once all the scheduling is done, then you can meet with them. On my end, so I had 2 advisors because the first one I had, she resigned when I was going into 2nd year. So she wasn't that helpful so much because I guess she knew she was retiring, so she just didn't care anymore. So during my first year, I was still learning the ropes, and I did take some classes that weren't even necessary because I heeded her advice. So she was all about art and music. And she convinced me that I needed to take them for my electives. So I wasted at least like two classes due to her. But once I realized that during my first sem, I decided to study the curriculum. So I really was just being a nerd and like comparing the all the classes that are generally available for the year. Usually you already have like an outline of the schedule for the next sem, even when it's not set in stone, but you'll get an idea. So usually every sem there's a set of classes that are always there every semester. So with that, I narrowed it down. Okay, so when can I take this, or can I take it some other time? Because then I'll focus on the classes that don't really happen every year or don't happen every semester. So I prioritized the very specific subjects that I needed to graduate. In my day, it wasn't really, we didn't have Facebook groups yet. I mean, we probably did, but it's just that we needed to go on a computer to check, because I didn't have it on my phone yet. My phone wasn't.
It was a Sidekick. What was it? The Nokia?
No, yeah, but I think that was the end of my first year. It was the Sony Ericsson one. But
does Sony Ericsson still exist?
But before that, I had a Samsung one that was the thinnest model, and it didn't have internet really.
Yeah.
So
now you could open an email once per day.
No, I don't think you could even open an email. That's how sad it was. So I had that, and so we didn't have Facebook groups like you would have now. So my advice is use that to your advantage, because you can ask students for advice through there. For me personally, I had to talk to people. I'm antisocial, but I just needed to know some insider information, which professors would be best, because I was at this point, grades really were important. So I wanted to make sure I didn't take any professors that were too challenging, or on the other hand don't really teach.
Yeah, there's not to interject here for a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can use your experience.
Yeah, so when I first started university, right, I was obviously new to pretty much everything, and I did listen to the Facebook groups, and I did listen to the upperclassmen who tell me, okay, this is an easy A class, this is an easy professor. The thing is, there's no such thing, because at the end of the day, if you're not engaged in the class, if you don't like the subject, or if you don't like the professor, you'll probably end up with a bad grade or a lackluster grade, unless the professor genuinely gives everyone an A or A plus, in which case that's a different matter entirely. That's not even an easy A plus. That's outright cheating at that point. But so I remember in my second semester, I chose classes that people told me, hey, this is an easy class. Mm-hmm. This professor is really nice. And I ended up with the worst grades I ever got, or at least so far that I've gotten so far. The semester after that, in my third semester, I decided to change it up a bit. I took classes with professors that everyone told me, you're gonna get an F. You're like, this professor will destroy you, you know? And each of those professors, so there were 4 different professors where they said, oh, this professor would destroy you. I got an A, and then an A plus from those 4 professors.
Yeah.
And it's because the subject that they were teaching, I was super interested in it. It was harder. It was a lot harder than the easy A subjects, because they actually had standards. No offense to the easy A subjects, but they had standards. But because I loved the subject so much, it didn't matter. And I think that's the important distinction. That's the difficult part about asking other people for advice about professors, because they're gonna tell you, oh, this professor sucks, and then they end it there. So I think what you're trying to say is, like, it's important to really hear the full story as much as possible.
Yeah. So that's really good advice as well, because I agree. It is important to consider what easy A is for majority doesn't actually mean it's going to be easy A for you. So you have to be careful because you still have to consider what class that is. Because I think I did one that was sure to be an easy A. And it was called Visual Literacy. And I'm crap at that sort of thing.
I hated that subject.
Yeah.
I hated that subject. I read her readings. It's garbage.
It was really bad.
It's garbage.
And I just couldn't understand, okay, what is the point? Because it was really about your opinion. And with IR and business, there's no opinion. You're interpreting what is there, but you're using what you've learned. So this one, it just suddenly veered off to the to the side where it's just no, your opinion matters.
And the problem with classes like that is, in reality, the professor's opinion is what matters.
Yeah.
So if your opinion, it might be a good opinion, doesn't fucking matter. If it's different from the professor's opinion, good luck.
Exactly.
Good luck.
So, because for me, where I really understood, so it was a lot of trial and error. So I tried what that person or what people suggested was an easy A, and I said, okay, that doesn't always work. So I had to then look into the professor, whether I'll ask the advisor or I'll ask, because at the time I worked with faculty. So I was also working in admin. So I was able to get to know some of the faculty, staff and everything, and then I could ask them insider information about the professor. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to work there, just like trying to get bits and pieces from different professors or just speaking with the professor in general, you'll already get an idea that, okay, yeah, this isn't as easy as you think. Or in most cases, speaking with the TA, that's also a good indication. I think in my end, we didn't really have TAs, but because in my day, so we didn't really have that many. So I was relying mostly on faculty and just student experiences. And then from there, you can get a gauge of what classes fit you. But then again, some of the time you have no choice. You have to take this professor. So it's really just learning how they work. So I did that a lot, where I would ask the student, okay, what do you rely on, handout, presentations, or the book? So those are really important things that you have to check in, because it will help with your grades.
So I think what matters here, you have to figure out if the subject is something that you're gonna like, and then if the professor's teaching style matches yours, right? Now, I think ideally all of us would like to do that, but there are times when we have required classes or pre-assigned classes even.
Yeah.
What do you do in situations like that?
So when that happens, which of course it has to, from my experience, what I did was really try to understand the professor, what they're looking for, and usually if you screw up with midterm or something, then you'll realize, okay, you have to backtrack, change your tactic. So of course it's difficult if midterm is the full grade, or it's majority of your grade. But even from the homeworks, you'll be able to get a sense already of the professor. So then what I do is I do try to speak with the professor, or whether it's the TA, and then get some info. I mean, in this case, like being a kiss-ass sycophant works. You have to do whatever it takes to get a grade. No, just kidding. Delete.
Okay. I think another thing that we should consider is that professors are still people, so things do fall through the cracks, and they are still subjective, right?
Oh yeah, no, they are always subjective.
Yeah, so I think it's not even being a kiss ass, but I think if you show up to class and you are sleeping in the front row, or if you show up to class and you're being very disruptive, what else can you expect? How can you not expect the professor to mark you down as a bad student, right? It doesn't matter if your test paper is perfect, right? If your behavior is just awful, you're probably not going to end up with one of the better grades.